8 reasons to never move to Japan. 1. You will not be welcome. The Japanese are very, very polite, but don't expect them to accept you as one of their own. Only about 1.5% of Japan's population is foreign-born. Anyone who stands out will have a hard time, unless that includes simply looking foreign. Some establishments are Japanese only. This refers to ethnicity, not citizenship. Bullying in schools is also common. Children with non-Japanese parents are often picked on. Being born in Japan makes no difference. 2. The work ethic is
All
distorted.
right, what do you guys think about that? Is there any truth to it?
First off, I hate videos like this. I really do, because it's so dramatic. There is a tiny sliver of truth in this. It's true that if you're not born in Japan, you'll never be Japanese, but it's not that they're not accepting. You know, a lot of people here are fine with foreigners, and there's a lot of things for foreigners.
I think it
You know?
depends on the line. Like, what do you mean by accepting? Right? If you're gonna come here and you're going to act Japanese and try to be Japanese, I think that's not good, because you're trying to be something you're not, and then the Japanese people, it's not even Japanese, any people is gonna
yeah,
say,
that-
"What's wrong with you? Why are you trying too hard?"
Yeah.
You know, but generally, if you come here and you're respectful and you appreciate the culture and you're not pushing your views down people's throats,
Yeah.
you're welcome. I've had no issues
Yeah.
personally.
No. All right. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to acknowledge everything you've said here, but just for Short's purpose here. Yeah. So it is true. If you move to Japan and expect to be treated like you're Japanese, you're going to have a bad time. Okay. It's not going to happen.
That is true.
You will always and forever be a foreigner. That being said, you can still move here and integrate into the society and still find acceptance, still make friends, still have a fulfilling life, and just, enjoy yourself and be welcome here, right? So don't come here and think that you're going to be Japanese, or don't come here and think that you're going to shove your culture, your whatever it is, onto this country and find acceptance. So there is truth in that in that particular aspect, but outside of that, this is really just like trying to grab your attention.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Really over dramatic.
One thing that they mentioned too was about the establishment, so I think we should talk about that. I
Yeah.
think that's a
About
short in
anybody-
itself.
Ah,
This one.
this one. Yes.
So we'll just play it, and then I'll stop it.
Some establishments are Japanese only. This refers to ethnicity, not citizenship. Bullying in schools is also common. Children with non-Japanese
So have any of you guys seen those type of establishments before?
Yes.
Yes, I
Same.
have.
Same. So for me, when I see those establishments, I don't get offended. I think there's multiple reasons for it. One, yeah, they could be racist. Maybe they don't like foreigners at all. That's one option.
Sure.
Two, maybe they had foreigners before, but they've just had issues with that in the past, and they don't want to deal with it again.
Yeah.
Two, they could have been three, there could have been language barriers, and they don't want to deal with that. And four, maybe they just want a community. They just want Japanese people there, and that's it. I think that's fine. I don't think that's a big issue. Five, it could have also been also the request of customers. I know there are some like izakayas that the customers really just want to be like, it's not even just like against foreigners. It's like they don't accept anybody who's new. It's just that community. So I think there's a lot of aspects to that, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned with the izakayas. A lot of very local izakayas, people buy a bottle and they keep their bottle there at the izakaya with their own name on it. And if you have a bunch of foreigners coming in and out, it kind of takes away that authenticity of their neighborhood spot. But yeah, no, there's a lot of establishments that do definitely have that. Oh, you're a foreigner. We don't want you here. And
Do you
I
get
agree.
offended by it?
No, I don't. I had an issue when I first came to visit. That we went to a particular type of hotel. That a lot of times those hotels don't allow foreigners, and so it was discouraging to go, to location after location and see that sign, no foreigners allowed. And we didn't quite understand why. Later on, we learned that a lot of the case is exactly as you said, that people that are foreigners, a lot of times they're maybe messy or they're dirty or they don't understand the rules, and it can
Cultural
be
differences.
complicated.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cultural differences there, yes.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Caleb?
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna be the first to say that I hate other foreigners in Japan, right? Okay, like I just get out, man, get out of here. You're in the way. Okay. I got a story about an elevator coming up real soon that just gets me fucking fired. Okay, but anyway,
Yeah, you're not the only one with an elevator story.
everyone's got an elevator story. Holy shit. But anyway, so I think that this is really sensationalizing it. Actually, the number of just like, oh, no foreigner shops is incredibly small. I've been in Tokyo
True.
for a long time.
Very
here.
true.
They
Very
make
true.
it sound like it's like every other shop down the street. That is not the case. The only experience I've had was in Matsumoto, which is way out in the sticks. You're way out in Nagano. And they probably did it largely because they just didn't speak English or have the capacity to deal with that kind of stuff when they needed to get a bunch of different customers in and out. And at the time, I didn't even speak good Japanese. So I'm just like, whatever, man. I don't care. Move down the street. It's fine. So, but if you're going to like pick a fight over this or get offended over this, it's dumb. It's
Yeah,
dumb.
I agree.
So you don't get offended at all by this?
I don't get offended at all. Yeah.
The one thing that I think that this established talks about is renting an apartment that becomes an issue because
That's a different section.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this
well,
is just establishments.
okay.
Yeah, but for the apartments. Okay, great.
Yep.
That's it.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
awesome.
Moving on.
All right. Yeah, the apartment thing is interesting.
I'm thinking in shorts right now. I'm just like
Yeah.
get it all fucking
Yeah.
in there in that one bite.
Anything else from here?
No, I think we're
The
we
school bullying thing.
we don't. None of
I
us
don't
have
have much
kids. Like,
to say about
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I'm in elementary school and I haven't seen kids really bullied that much. And they're kids. They all bully each other.
True.
But there's a much greater sense of community in the school system here than there is in the States. And the kids will stick up for each other and they'll help each other out. And it's actually really a beautiful thing.
I wouldn't mind talking about it, but him and I can't say anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So then we just have to
it's
say
cool.
nothing.
Okay.
Right? But that is a good point.
And we've got it on camera too, in case we want to make a short of it. So yeah,
Fair
it's
enough.
good.
Okay, so 2.
2. The work ethic is dystopian. The Japanese judge people by how much they work. Working overtime is lauded. Leaving the office on time is seen as lazy. If you're sick, staying home is frowned upon. The peer pressure forces everyone to comply, but bonding rituals can be even more brutal. 3. Employees must get drunk together after work.
Yeah, when I see that clip there, I think, okay, well, who is this video targeted to? It's targeted to foreigners. Most of the things that they're talking about in that segment had to do with Japanese people
Right.
at Japanese companies. So
Right.
that's totally irrelevant.
Exactly right. If you're the foreigner at the company, I guarantee you, and like, of course, there'll be one scenario where this happens, but largely, you are treated, foreigners, you both know, we get our own special rules. We do not play by the Japanese rule book. So you will not expect it to be held to the same standards when it comes to overtime, when it comes to all these other things. And that's assuming you're dumb enough to work for a black company like that in the first place, right? You get a choice. That is not every company.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With the company that I work for, I work until the end of my contracted hour and I'm out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
I'm done.
Yeah, a lot
and
of
everybody
foreigners do
knows.
that. Actually,
Yeah,
our foreign
big
friends, you probably know them
Again,
as well.
Yeah, I'm a marketing
Austrian.
manager. It's time to clock out. I'm like, see you guys. Bye.
Exactly.
That's it. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the end.
everybody else will be in the office till 8 o'clock, and I don't care.
Yeah, so I question it because remember, this is one of the reasons to not come to Japan. Japanese people are not looking at a video to not come to Japan. It's
Right, no, of
foreigners.
course.
So
Yeah,
that's,
as a
again,
foreigner,
irrelevant.
you're not going to deal with this issue.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't worry about it. basically.
Oh, yeah. So in other words, is bullshit. Okay.
Good. We handled that one nicely.
Yeah.
All right, next. What time is it?
Bonding rituals.
But bonding rituals can be even more brutal. 3. Employees must get drunk together after work. That's Japanese team building for you. Coworkers will often go to a karaoke bar. Excusing yourself will make them mistrust you. Drinking with your boss is a must. You will become an outcast in no time at all. Ostracism is the worst punishment in Japan.
All right, any truth in that?
Again, it is true if you're Japanese. Like honestly, you're a foreign guy. Like
It's not going to matter.
it's not going to matter. You are still often invited to these drinking parties, but also it's important to remember that the culture is changing over time, and also the more foreigners that move here, which is absolutely happening as we speak because the birthing rates here are like abysmal, and we got a nice upside down pyramid in terms of our age hierarchy here. Yeah, so this, like, if that's a problem now, which I don't think it's going to be for any foreigners working here, it will not be in the next maybe 5 to 10 years when you're moving here to Japan to start working. So no.
Yeah, so that again, this video is targeted towards foreigners to not come to Japan,
Yep.
and that's something that a lot of foreigners are not going to face.
Also, for the few foreigners that do work in a Japanese company, let's say, and you do go out to drink with your coworkers, you don't have to drink alcohol. They're saying you're required to get drunk with your boss. No. You can have whatever you want to drink. You can have soda and tea and stuff. The camaraderie is what they're looking for.
Yeah,
correct.
That's what they're trying to build.
And they can't fire you because you don't go.
No,
So, yeah.
exactly.
In
Yeah,
fact,
that's a
sidebar,
big one.
Sidebar, it is almost impossible to get fired in Japan.
That's
This
a
is true.
separate video.
That's a separate video.
That's a separate video. But
yeah,
yes,
it's very
yes.
difficult to get fired in Japan.
But another thing, some people may say, okay, well, what about Japanese people? They have to deal with that. Yeah, to a degree. But I also know Japanese people who don't actually have to comply with those rules. It goes again with what you said, that the culture is changing. So it depends on the company if we're talking about Japanese. But mostly for foreigners, like from my experience and understanding other foreigners and speaking with them, they don't have this issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly
yeah.
right.
Especially, I also know Muslim friends,
Yeah, sure.
and they don't drink, and they can't drink, right? And they don't go there at all, and they don't have any repercussions at all. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bullshit.
All right.
Got it.
4. Japanese gender roles are stuck in the past. It's not quite Afghanistan, but it's not Sweden either. Japan's workplace discrimination is the worst among the developed nations. Its gender pay gap is the widest in the G7. Women in full-time work earn 22.4% less than men. At home, women are expected to do all the housework. Most Japanese men don't do any household chores. They haven't been taught to and aren't expected to.
All right. Is there any truth to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Compile my thoughts here.
There's a little bit of truth to it, but again, it goes back to the are you a Japanese husband to a Japanese wife? If you're watching this video,
Chances are probably
probably
no.
not. So does it really affect you? If this is reasons not to move to Japan, that my neighbor, who is a Japanese man, is married to a Japanese woman, and she happens to do chores.
Yeah, my thing with this is, okay, yeah, that's a good point because it is targeting foreigners, and it's like, okay. But the other thing is that they said it's stuck in the past. They mentioned about, the wage, and I didn't look into any of the details, so I'm not going to make a comment on that.
Sorry,
But
please.
they were saying about how the woman's at the house and she's doing all the chores, and this is a problem. Why? There's many couples who have been doing this for centuries, and why is this? If they chose to do that, why are we labeling it as a bad thing?
No, I agree. That is one. They're talking like it's the set in stone thing, and it's not, because people can change, and you have conversations about these things when you're presumably starting a relationship to get in the situation where this is a problem to begin with. And what if your wife wants to stay home and do the chores and stuff? Or what if you're moving to Japan and you would like to be the stay-at-home husband, well, wife in this case, to do the chores? That's fine. I don't think that's to be shamed.
Yep.
And I just think making sure that everyone is on the same page in regards to your chores and household, what have you, is the most important thing. I don't think it's shame-worthy to say, oh, it's stuck in the past. And also, it's not because, well, anecdotally, my experience is I have been the one doing the chores in the past before. Now, again, but it's fluctuated. It's changed as the needs of our relationship changed, and she was making more money at one time. The roles shifted at some point, but when it needed to be that, I picked up a goddamn mop, ma'am. I'm out there like with a rag on
Which
my
makes
head,
sense.
doing this
Which
stuff.
makes sense,
Yeah,
you know?
and like, oh, women make so much less money. Again, like, there are lots of cases where this is true, but it is not always true. Like, my wife was very high up in a company there for a while, absolutely fucking murdering it, just straight killing it. On the street, blood everywhere. It was grisly how much money she was making.
That's
okay?
fantastic.
Well, still so I should shut up. Hold up, one second. That was all a lie. I'm being very hyperbolic on a podcast,
yeah,
but it is not inherently true. And the things that it's purporting are bad, I don't even think are necessarily bad. To Lindo's point.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. The one issue when they say that the men aren't taught to do this kind of thing, there is some truth in that. There's, if you were coming to marry a Japanese person, a Japanese man, they probably aren't geared towards doing chores and things. There's not a whole lot of training, generally speaking, other than cooking in school.
I've just got to say that if you're a woman who is going to marry a Japanese man, if he is open to marrying a foreign woman, my guess is he's probably open-minded enough to pick up a goddamn broom. Okay,
probably
like
right.
that's where I'm at. So if
Probably
that's
right.
what you're at, just already
Have the conversation,
getting in
like
that
you said.
situation is
At the end of the day,
disqualifying.
it is having that conversation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because whether you are foreign or Japanese or international, not international, doesn't matter. If you have the conversation where you want to have the traditional division of labor, go for it.
Yeah.
And if not, and you guys agree for something else, go for it.
Yeah. And
But to
it's up to
label it and
everybody,
say that it's
yeah.
stuck in the past or it's not good, it's not a reason to move to a country, is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I agree. I
Absolutely.
think that's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a long one. All right.
Oh, it's stuck on gender roles. it starts getting long.
I got worried for the gender roles one for a second
Right
there.
when
I'm
people
like,
say general, everyone's like raises their eyebrows.
Yeah,
Who wants to go first?
Which direction is this gonna go?
completely unrelated. In school, I'm teaching he and she to elementary school kids, right? Boy, girl, he, she. Yeah, yeah. This week.
Can you tell us that while we're walking
Yes,
to the
sure,
station?
sure.
5. It can be impossible to find accommodations. The cost of living in Japan makes it unaffordable to most foreigners. Rent often has to be paid months in advance. In some cases, you may need to get a guarantor. There may also be various local requirements. Most apartments don't allow pets. Some don't even allow children. Apartments are typically rented through brokers. Landlords tend to reject foreigners.
Any truth to this?
All right.
Yes.
Yes. This
This
one
one's
checks
accurate.
out. All right.
Okay.
Like,
This one's pretty
Yeah.
accurate. Yeah.
But it's not as hard. Like I remember when I
not
was getting an
impossible.
apartment, right? Like I did face that. They were like, but you know, I didn't even know actually. Was it because I was foreign or was it because I didn't speak Japanese? I think that's a good
There's
distinguishment.
two.
There's a good distinguishment
yes.
because one, I had at least two people tell me through emails talking to the staff, and they said, "Sorry, we just don't speak English, and we don't have
Yeah.
translator. We don't have to."
Yep,
And then others were just saying, no,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
no."
I've had the exact same issue. When we
Yeah.
first moved here, we had a nice apartment that we were looking at renting, and the insurance company called me and asked because the owner was okay, but the insurance company was like, "Well, we need to talk to the lead guy." You know, and I'm like, okay, so I pick up the phone and they're like, "Nihongo shabeta," and I'm like, "I don't know what you're saying," because at the time I spoke no Japanese, and they're like, "Sorry, we can't rent to you." You know, because the insurance company rejected me, not the landlord.
Right.
And the next apartment that I went to, no problem. It was totally fine. So the company, if you are renting in Japan, I recommend Mini because they're awesome. But
No, it is true. This is the point. Because this is very true. A lot of different brokers, a lot of different places and people do not want to rent to foreigners. That is their prerogative. Like, we're guests in their country, essentially. But there are lots of other people filling that niche in the market. Lots of areas where they say, yes, come
Yeah.
here as a foreigner. We want to rent to you.
Yeah.
So there are lots of opportunities.
fully
This-
furnished.
fully furnished.
Yeah, you
So
know,
this
share
is true
kitchens.
in many cases, but there are also examples of the contrary and specific places you can rent that will specifically rent to foreigners.
To be clear, I haven't seen it as a hurdle.
Ivan, well,
Yeah.
You have to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for them to label it, it's impossible. It can be impossible. No.
it's hyperbolic at
Yeah.
best. Like, no.
Come on.
And it's not that expensive. Like
No.
They're saying
No.
it's so expensive
Right.
that you can't. It's, have you been to New York?
Right?
Have you been to Los Angeles?
I
Like,
was in
my
Denver, and Denver is twice the price of Tokyo. I'm not even kidding.
I don't find it that expensive
It's
compared to
not
the
that
U.S. So
expensive.
I think that's ridiculous.
Yes,
That's an
I agree.
exaggeration.
I live in the heart of the city. I'm not gonna say where, but I live in the heart of fucking Tokyo. I pay $1,000 a month for rent.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I've,
and-
I've got a 2-bedroom, and I'm on the border of Tokyo, and yeah, it's $650 a month.
That's
if
great.
You equate it, or if you do the exchange rate.
Yeah.
yeah, it's fantastic. You can't beat that. You know?
so I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
6. Japan is small, and everything in it is smaller. Japanese apartments are tiny and cramped. Many don't even have separate kitchens. Finding the right size clothes or shoes is very hard for a Westerner. Japanese sizes are all smaller and short.
All right. There is truth to that. There is a lot of truth. I have
Okay.
to agree. For the most part, I would agree. Yeah.
And it also depends on the person, right? Because I can see that for you, for sure. For me, I've had no problem. But
interesting.
I'm very Japanese size, right? So I am tall. I'm 180 centimeters, but I have no problem finding shoes that fit. I have no problem finding shirts that fit. Like,
For that, yes, I agree. I meant for the apartment.
Oh, for the-
actually. Yeah, because
I was
they
gonna say,
mentioned.
I have a problem with the clothes.
Okay, you have a problem with
I have
the
a
clothes.
problem
We
with
don't have a
clothes.
problem with it.
no
No.
problem with clothes.
Okay.
here.
All right.
So what's the issue?
Okay, so as far as the clothes go, I do recommend Uniqlo. Okay. Uniqlo, I mean, they're all over the world, which is great. But they oftentimes carry a slightly higher size, larger sizes. So here I'm an XL or maybe a double XL, depending on what the cut is. Whereas in the States, I'd be a large or a medium.
Okay.
So this is true. The sizes are smaller. as far as finding clothes go, shoes are difficult. They have what's now more Japanese people are taller and bigger than they used to be. So it's becoming better and easier. There's also big and tall stores. Aoki, I think is what it's called, has a lot of larger sizes. There are large, like, just a clothing store that has nice.
So then there is some truth
stuff.
basically to that when it comes
There
to the
is.
clothes and the shoes. What about the apartment?
Apartment-wise, I've been in several apartments where I've consistently banged my head on doorways and stuff. So I've had some issues that way, but you know learn to duck a little bit, learn to see it coming. Like, there's no really getting around it. So this is true, but I don't see it as a hurdle personally.
Yeah, I don't see it as a hurdle. In terms of, I'm mainly talking about the space for the apartment or the home. If you want more space, you're just going to have to pay a little more.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, or move a little further out of the city. Like
That's true.
That's what we
That's
did.
true as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.